Hey guys, qOwOp here. I was going to start everything off just by, taking the chance to go over this new event for CZN. But, then I realized that this is level gated. It's level gated. So, first I have to ungate my level, as in reach 50. Thankfully, I'm really close here, but this has required some degree of refreshing. Usually only 2 a day, but for quite a while now. And this is not something everyone does, especially people who specifically save for polls, which I would assume is most players. And this isn't a one-time problem, this is a recurring problem, and this is something that people have complained about, as far as I can tell, for quite a while now, which is that a lot of this game is just level gated. And the problem with that is that it is a very artificial feeling, or very artificial barrier. Because a lot of the level gating stuff, like you can see here, let me just go to the missions. I am under level 50, but for some reason this patch, there was a bug, and everyone had access to Chapter 6. Or at least everyone above level 40, as far as I know. And as you can see, I was able to clear everything. That's what I mean by artificial gating. Because this isn't difficulty gated or anything. I could beat it even with my level 50 team. And instead of seeing how far you can go or anything in this game, or to be more specific, for this event, which I would assume Smilegate wants, the players to play, to have everything besides a tier 3 difficulty. Is this tier 3 difficulty? I think this is tier 3 difficulty. Yeah. To have everything beyond this gated by level 50 is just insane. For a regular player who hasn't refreshed at all, I would expect them to maybe take possibly even it would be next week before they were able to actually get into the event and start trying the harder content. So besides this, some sources of EXP that I think some people might have overlooked is that in Chaos, regular Chaos, you get EXP for first time clears at a certain difficulty. And this carries over for all difficulties. As in, so if you have not cleared any stage before, and then you clear the hardest stage, you will get everything below it. I've already used this to claim a lot of EXP, but since I still need a little bit more to hit 50, let's just go through this now. And I'll also explain how I usually do things in Chaos. In Zero, I mean. Which is a little bit different from Chaos, because at this point in progression, the regular Chaoses should be pretty easy. These are all pretty bad. I usually take this one, in this case. Normally in Zero, I would scroll and try to get as many unidentifieds as possible. But this is Chaos, so we're just going to zip through it, and I'll explain a little bit about how we do things as that happens. When necessary. Since I'm over-leveled for this, this probably will not be necessary. Or a lot of things just won't come into play. I'm just going to take fast stuff to just skip as fast as I can. So these guys won't get one-shotted, probably. In which case, I will explain that or I guess it doesn't matter much, because at this point, I'm just taking very little stress damage, and it doesn't really matter. But some of you may or may not know this, but stress accumulation isn't based on the flat damage you take. It's actually related to the percentage of damage you take. This is why even if you get one of those difficulty modifiers in Zero, where you get your max HP reduced, I think it's Plague, you take a lot more stress damage. For Kairon, I would say all of these are pretty bad. I know there's some combo wombo stuff you can do, but just, in my opinion, these are all pretty bad, since I don't have any copies of him or any dupes. This event should be a pretty common sight for most of you at this point. First chest is, as far as I know, guaranteed to be 100 credits. Next two chests are just random items. They can be either blue or orange. Some of you might be wondering if my Khalif is a bit too strong for what it looks like I'm doing with her. And I'll just say that's because she's geared. Gear in this game makes a very large impact. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like an ungeared level 50 Khalif do any of this, because my gear's not that good, but like 5 of them are +5. And also at this point, I already have the gears, like, in the game. Like in this run, I mean. Not talking about memory fragments. I'll go over like the memory stuff later. I know they, as in the devs or the Smilegate or whoever, released how it actually works. But since we're not farming memory here, it doesn't matter to me. But in this case, I just want to discard cards for the sake of efficient deck building, just so I can clear this as fast as I can. I don't want to have to waste time having filler cards. Slowing down this run. My Kairon isn't as built simply because I don't use him that much. Or I do use him, but just not too often in Chaos, because I think I already have a decent build for him. And also, he's just kind of frustrating the build in Chaos. The reason I took him here is that he does have high cost cards, and he also does have, or he will eventually get, an AoE card. And this Chaos run is the map with a large amount of enemies. Trash mobs. So you want to be able to clear them fast. So Kairon's pretty good at that. Philippe is, of course, best in slot for this Chaos, this world, the bug world. I'm too poor for any of this. Just using the campfire to reduce stress on Mika. It might look like I'm going through this a bit fast, and I will admit that this is a pretty fast run. But I have done like Codex 10s, so in that context, I would say this isn't very surprising. So this might be a bit bad, but I don't actually care. Like, usually you don't want to let this boss do that kind of thing to you, because you will suffer a lot. But it is already more than 2/3 dead, so even if it scales, I don't even know if it'll survive this turn. Yep, it will not survive this turn, so it's fine. None of these are that great, but this is the best out of them, in my opinion. I picked that copy just for some quick damage. You never want to spend stamina at this point in the game, aka above level 40, on regular chaos runs. That is because better runs in the zero system will give you more loot or more memory fragments, which is like at the point of either 9 or 10, I think you get 3. 3 yellows, I mean, or oranges. So doing anything else is basically a waste of your stamina. I screwed up there. I don't know if everyone knows this already, but you do get turn rewinds. And you can use that when you accidentally screw up, like what I did. That is to get me 2 AP, so I can then play this card. Because accumulating a lot of stress, which is not great, but what can you do? I miscalculated, which is pretty sad, but whatever. Or I crit, so all works out. By the way, for campfires, I would recommend always using campfire instead of doing the training, because your credits are almost always going to be better spent like in the shops, and also with like the memory changes we all found out about. The shop, like, you don't want too many garbage neutral cards. For most characters. Some characters can tolerate more than others. Remember how I said before Keiron is quite annoying to play in Chaos? Part of it is because that Epiphany I just got, that card, which changes your utilities into less garbage, is quite rare to get. I have almost never gotten it before Interior. And if you get unlucky with boss runs in the first stage, you can, like, with my team, it's not run ending, but it's run extending, and I take a lot more damage, and stress than I want to, because your deck will just clog up with the futilities you get from using his cards. Basically any of his cards, because even his basics create futilities. And so, like, they won't be able to take me out just because of the raw power of my team, but they will certainly smack me a lot. Which then makes the end of the runs harder. Oh, jeez. Okay, so this, I think, might be pretty lucky. Maybe. Never mind. Okay, so this is the worst version, in my opinion, for that event. This event, not like this specific one, but events in this chaos with that pyramid looking thing. The two other versions of this event give what I think is basically one of the strongest cards in the game, which is Heart of the Nest. Meanwhile, that event we just went through is nothing but disappointment bait. It's just sad because you get hyped up, you're gonna get an incredible card, you're able to get a decent memory or decent save data for that run, and then no, you just get a garbage event. Okay, so I don't know if you all saw that, but this one, there's a few versions of this event too, but when you have that little speech bubble, this is the best version of this event. But this is a pretty valuable event because you just get a free Divine Epi, or you can remove 2 cards for free, and like without any drawbacks. The worst version, you get to remove 1 card, or you also get a Divine Epi, but the Divine Epi gives you, I think it's sticky. I'm just going to do this. And remove some more fodder. So by now, I think both Charon and Mika are probably over the fragile data cap. But since I mentioned before, I don't care. Just because there's no point for this run anyway. You can find some guides on Reddit. I might go through it later. But you don't want to just directly delete your character's cards. So, for these epiphanies, this one I know has some use in a combo wombo deck. But this also usually, I think, wants a few dupes to make the combo wombo do anything. In my opinion, if you're not running that deck, you want to have the epiphany that gives you Outbreak of War. Or I guess it's not Outbreak of War anymore, it's like Initiation, but I'm hoping they bring back calling it Outbreak of War, like how they changed Heaven back to Celestial. For one, initiative sounds a lot, or initiation, yeah. That's an example. It sounds very close. Initiation and initiative are basically, are like too similar to use as something different. And also, Outbreak of War is actually, or I think it's a very good, unique sounding mechanic. I say unique sounding because it's not actually a unique mechanic in many other games. Or I guess not many other games, but similar games have like similar effects where you just always draw first turn. But Outbreak of War is like a unique way to call it. And it made a pretty good impression on me, unlike a few other things the game's translation has done. I haven't seen this before. This is a bit weird. But the cursed cards in this world, in the bug world, are actually very mild because it's just 2 AP and they're gone. Because of the remove tag. It's not like in the Chaos Line world, there's like, what's it called? Yeah, like the Shizo stuff. It's not like those which appear all the time, and you can't actually get rid of. Like, you have to play them out every single time. But but sticky, they have remove tag. The remove tag, so they'll just directly activate. Or they're like 2 and done. Whirlpool. Not full HP, so I don't care. It wants just 1 damage. I thought the dog was supposed to stay after you kill it. I'm not too sure what happened there, but I don't think it matters too much. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Okay, whatever. It's fine. All of these are pretty bad too. Once again, it doesn't matter, but you know, just want to call it out since it might be useful for some of you at some point. There's a better version of this event as well, where you get the Formica's Unbroken Spear, which is actually really good for an AoE attack unit like Heiron. Like, usually people who run Charon run him as an AoE DPS, and you can see from this effect, this is a weapon that boosts your AoE DPS, and the purple, the mythic version, has an even better effect. Okay, that's a bit unlucky, but like it's again, it doesn't matter at this point. I was just kind of checking this out, but this is what I think is qOwOp's best in slot weapon. I could be wrong. Someone might know more than me. But basically every attack card I usually have at the end of any kind of run is 2 cost or more. Which means every attack Khalid does gives agony. Which isn't as great as it sounds actually, because... Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh wait, no, that's perfect. Okay, great. Yeah, because Khalid's a depth scaling unit, she doesn't actually... An agony scales of attack, she doesn't actually get too much out of it, but you can stack a lot of them. So it's like a lot of free damage, it's pretty nice. Okay. I didn't use the upgrade yet. I thought that would give me some free damage. It did not. The reason why I kept such a not great deck is just because... Great sword. Like, it's a bit of a waste of using that card because... Like, I ended up drawing that card I just played, as well as Whirlpool. But Khalid, I think my Khalid does more damage than my Charon when he's not turbo stacked, so it works out. This is kind of actually a shame that I am not using this deck because I have a better deck. Because this is actually a very solid save. Like, if I actually ran this run and converted some cards before I deleted them... Well, no. This would be a 3 Voltra ejection run, which is nice. But this was never going to end well, because... the save data is just too low. Or the difficulty tier is just too low. And that's that. Should be level 50 now. Where is it? There we go. Finally. Yeah, pretty nice. I could grind all these out, these other 3 worlds out for the 5th difficulty just for a little bit of EXP, but I think I'm gonna wait until I can do 6 and just get them all at once. Or get 5 and 6 at once, so I just don't have to repeat it. I was initially going to start going over the season events, but I think this is probably a good stopping point for my first video. So I guess I'll just claim these rewards. I'll do the 20 pulls now, and then that'll be that. Let's see if anything happens. Doesn't look like it. This is unfortunate. I already got Lucas to E6, as you can see. Or is it M6? Whatever. Either case, I got him maxed already, dupe-wise, when I was pulling for Yuki. And this is also unfortunate because, let me just show you. I never pulled her before, so I just bought her yesterday from this Zeronium shop for a K-Room. So the day after I finally give in and buy her, I pull her. And that's just not great. Like, I guess I could use her or save the dupe for Tressa eventually if I ever get around to building her, but whatever. Yep, nothing happens. This is actually good just because this is probably the Lillian. Is she Lillian? Vivian? Let me check. Lillian. Lillian is probably the best striker partner for everyone that's not Haru. Haru would probably want this just because her anchor is 2 or more damage. But Vivian is very, very good. That's that. Thanks for watching.